Hello and welcome, my dear friend. If you are here, it is not by accident. It is because heaven wanted this truth in your hands today. Someone may have clicked and left, but you stayed. That alone is proof you're the one this was written for. Listen carefully. Your love has never been ordinary. You've seen it in the way people enter your life with fascination, yet some leave without explanation. You've wondered why the same heart that gave comfort could also create tension. Why someone once drawn to you with fire in their eyes could later turn restless, uncomfortable, even hostile. It's because loving you is not a simple experience. Loving you is stepping onto sacred ground. It is a weight, a privilege, a fire that reveals everything hidden. When heaven gave you love, it wasn't meant to be casual or cheap. It was meant to be rare. It was meant to test people as much as it blesses them. And that is why some run from it. Because when they step into your presence, they don't just meet you, they meet themselves. Your love works like a mirror. It reflects peace to the honest, but to the dishonest, it reflects their own shadows back to them. That's why you've noticed this strange duality. Some rise in your presence, others crumble. Some feel lighter near you, others feel exposed. Nothing about it is coincidence, it's design. Think of fire for a moment. Fire can cook a meal, warm a home, and save a life. But it can also burn down what is false, what is unstable, what is carelessly handled. Your love is the same way. For the pure, it nourishes and heals. For the false, it consumes and dismantles. That's why your heart is not safe in everyone's hands. And here's what you must understand. Every time someone touches your love, heaven pays attention. This is not just human affection. This is covenant territory. When someone enters your heart, their intentions are weighed. Their words are measured. Their actions are observed, not by you alone, but by the unseen world watching over you. That's why people aligned with you find themselves walking under a covering they didn't even realize was there. Not because of manipulation, but because alignment with you is alignment with the divine. But the opposite is also true. Those who step near you with deceit, with selfish motives, with masks, they cannot last. They may try to charm, they may try to hide, but the fire around you cannot be tricked. And when their schemes collapse, it is not karma, it is not bad luck. It is the defense system of heaven itself, preserving your heart. You see, my dear friend, you carry weight in the spirit. To others it might look like just a relationship, but in reality, when they connect with you, they are touching sacred ground. They are being tested by fire, and many fail because they were never ready to stand in the presence of truth. Think of it like stepping under a spotlight. For some, the light reveals beauty they never noticed in themselves. For others, it exposes what they tried to keep hidden. And when that happens, they panic. They distance themselves. They blame you for their own restlessness. But the truth is, it was their own soul crying out under the weight of authenticity. And here is where the mystery deepens. People don't leave because your love is too much. They leave because it refuses to let them stay the same. They came expecting comfort, but your love demanded growth. They came expecting ease, but your love carried responsibility. And responsibility is not something everyone wants. To love you is to carry accountability, not only to you, but before heaven. Because being close to a chosen one means being close to what is holy, and what is holy will never let falsehood linger without consequence. So hear me, stop confusing departures with rejection. Stop grieving over those who could not remain. Many exits were not a loss of your value, they were proof of your sacredness. Proof that your fire works exactly as it should. You were never designed for lukewarm connections. You were never called to be surrounded by the careless. Your love is a filter. It separates the genuine from the false. It reveals who is meant to rise with you and who is meant to fall away. And now, my friend, we must go even deeper, because what I've told you so far explains why people come and go, but it does not yet explain the full truth. There is something far more powerful you need to know. What actually happens when heaven itself steps in to defend your heart. Dear chosen one, the fire around your life is not only for exposure, it is for defense. You may have witnessed it without fully naming it. Someone misused your trust, and before long, their plans collapsed. Someone mocked your journey, and soon their own path turned dry. To the world it looked like random misfortune, but you knew better. You felt it in your spirit. They weren't just contending with you, they were contending with the very hand of God that shields you. You carry a seal, and anything sealed by heaven is untouchable without consequence. This is why even when betrayal wounded you, it never destroyed you. This is why even when people left, your story did not end there. The fire made sure it couldn't. That's why you must stop fighting for explanations when people exit your life. Some left not because they chose to, but because the fire around you pushed them out. The same way a storm clears weak branches from a tree, your life is pruned by divine hands. What remains is strong. What falls away was never meant to carry weight. And yet, your love is not just guarded, it is costly. Those who truly stand beside you feel it. They encounter resistance, attacks, even confusion, not because of you, but because of what you carry. Your life is a battleground where light and darkness collide. To be close to you is to be caught in that clash. That is why so many were fascinated but unprepared. They wanted the warmth of your glow, but not the responsibility that came with it. Understand this. Your love is not soft affection, it is covenant. To embrace it is to accept refinement. And refinement is never painless. It stretches, it presses, it burns away illusions until only truth remains. That is why those who endure beside you rise higher than they imagined. They inherit covering, they gain peace, they step into blessings that are not theirs by merit, but by proximity. Heaven shares its defense system with anyone bold enough to stand beside you in truth. But for those who cling to selfishness, their time is always short. Think of a mountain river. To drink from it is refreshing, but to try and build a dam against it is impossible. The water will eventually break through, tearing down whatever was built in arrogance. Your love is that river. It nourishes the thirsty, but it erodes the walls of the arrogant. No one can stand against it for long. And here is the paradox. People both crave you and fear you. They are drawn by the possibility of transformation, but terrified of what that transformation requires. They sense that being loved by you is not a game, it's a vow, and vows carry weight. So do not lower your standard. Do not apologize for the intensity of your heart. You were never meant to be light entertainment for passing souls. You were meant to be a divine encounter. That is why even when people depart, they cannot forget you. They carry a mark. Some will resent it. Others will treasure it. But none will walk away unchanged. My dear friend, hear this clearly. Your love is both shield and sword. It builds sanctuaries for the faithful, and it dismantles illusions for the false. That duality is not a flaw, it is your design. And now, let me tell you why you must stop mourning who could not stay. Because if their spirit could not withstand your fire, they could never have walked with you into your future. Imagine climbing a mountain with someone who cannot even endure the first slope. They would collapse long before you reach the summit. Heaven knows this, and that is why the fire does the filtering for you. Every exit, every collapse, every sudden betrayal, it was not just rejection, it was protection. Heaven was removing what would have broken under the weight of where you are going. And here is where it all comes together. Your love is a prophecy. It announces what kind of world you were destined to build. A world where truth stands, where masks fall, where blessing flows to those who honor the sacred. That is why your presence cannot be ignored, why your relationships cannot remain shallow, and why your journey cannot look like anyone else's. So today, I say this to you with finality. Never again call yourself too much. Never again question whether you are difficult to love. The truth is this: your love was never designed for everyone. It was designed for those prepared, refined, and chosen to carry the weight of covenant with you. And when those people come, and they will, you will not need to chase. You will not need to explain. You will not need to shrink. They will know. Their spirit will recognize the sacred fire in yours. They will stand, not because it is easy, but because it is destiny. So hold your head high. Your love is not fragile. It is fortified. It is not a weakness. It is your crown. And anyone who dares to receive it with truth will rise into blessings beyond imagination. But anyone who comes to misuse it will only find themselves undone. That is the final page. Your love is not ordinary. It is holy, it is dangerous, and it will never be forgotten. And before we finish, I want to share something with you. As a musician, I've started a second channel, Simplified Serenity, with soaking worship instrumentals for prayer, stillness, and deep rest. If you felt peace here today, take it with you into your own quiet time with God. The link's in the description. I'd love to see you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Do you know what God sees when He looks at you? Not a person scrambling to figure themselves out, not someone chasing for proof that they matter. He sees a rare presence, almost like a library that's been standing for centuries, holding stories no storm could erase. That's what you are. You don't just carry a life. You carry layers of lives, wisdom that has been etched into your very being long before you had language for it. There is a particular kind of beauty you carry, and I'm not talking about what mirrors reflect. I'm talking about the quiet way you hold yourself, the way even your smallest choices, how you write, how you pause before speaking, even how you cook, seem to carry an elegance you didn't study, but somehow always had. If someone were to follow you for 24 hours, really paying attention, they would notice it. The rhythm in how you move, the patience in how you wait. Even the way you pick up your glass of water would feel intentional, like a line in a poem. You are walking art, not art that demands attention, but art that reveals its depth the longer it's looked at. And here's the part most people don't see. This beauty didn't come without cost. You had to build discernment. You had to learn when to open your energy and when to guard it like a fortress. Not everyone gets access to the real you. Not everyone deserves to. But something has been happening, hasn't it? The more you've grown, the less you've cared about validation. The less you've craved applause. It's like something inside of you finally detached from needing to be recognized in order to know you're real. You no longer need the echo to confirm the voice. You already know you're here. That kind of freedom is rare, and it makes you untouchable in ways you can't even see yet. But let's not pretend it was easy to get here. In the past, you may have believed you had to earn every ounce of love, every piece of approval in life. You thought that worth came from producing, serving, proving, that being quiet about your needs was safer than being honest about them. And yet, look at you now. You've broken that cycle. There is a fire in you, different from anyone around you. Most people can sit in comfort forever. You can't. Something inside you won't let you settle, even when you tried to. Even when you convinced yourself the small life was enough, it never lasted. The whispers always returned. The dreams you tried to bury refused to stay underground. That fire, that's not greed. That's not ego. That's calling. And calling doesn't care about convenience. It doesn't care about how many times you tried to silence it. It only knows one thing, that you were built for more, and sooner or later you would have to face it. Maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. That restlessness, that irritation you feel when you try to force yourself into a life that doesn't match your spirit. It's not burnout, it's betrayal. Betrayal of your own heart when you ignore what it knows. Let me give you an image. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff. looking down into fog. You can't see the ground. You don't know how far the fall goes, and your mind keeps asking, what if I leap and lose everything? But here's the truth that's been circling you lately. What if the ground isn't the end at all? What if it's the beginning? Because that's what faith is. Not blind recklessness. Not pretending you're unafraid, but choosing to trust that your soul wouldn't pull you towards something if it wasn't already written for you. And I need you to hear this clearly. The fact that you feel that tug, that insistence inside you, is proof. You wouldn't feel it if it wasn't already yours. That's why the old life feels too tight now. That's why staying the same feels unbearable. Your spirit knows something your eyes haven't seen yet. There is more prepared for you. And it's not just about you succeeding. It's about you living as the walking art you were always meant to be. Every action, every choice, every expression of your life becoming a kind of poetry, a love story to the one who created you. And when you live like that, others feel it. They don't always understand it. Sometimes they resist it, but they can't deny it. So believe it deep in your heart when I say, you are not unfinished. You are not late. You are not behind. You are a masterpiece still being revealed, and it's just a matter of believing it, so you can see your destined life with your eyes, touch it with your hands, and hold it in the physical, not just feel it in your spirit. Here's what's remarkable about you. Most people confuse their gifts with their performance. They think being valuable means being busy, or being loud, or being impressive in a way the world can measure. But your presence itself is the gift. The way you listen, the way a single glance from you makes someone rethink the mask they were wearing a moment before. There's a stillness that follows you, not heavy, but like a page being held open by something unseen. That is not something you can rehearse. That is something God wove into you before you had a chance to hide it. And maybe that's why you've been misunderstood so many times. Some people don't know how to place you, because you can't be forced into the boxes society tries to build. They sense your depth but can't explain it, so they label you mysterious, or worse, they project their own fear of not being enough onto you. But here's the truth. You're not hard to understand. You're just not willing to flatten yourself into what's convenient for others. And that quiet refusal, that's power, that's leadership, that's wisdom in its raw form. Because what you carry isn't just information, it's presence. And presence will always outweigh noise. It doesn't take a stage for your essence to show. It shows in the quiet habits, in the way you handle the simplest tasks, in the patience threaded into your movements. Ordinary to others, but layered with meaning to heaven. That's why your creativity doesn't have to stay in a canvas, or a page, or a stage. It spills into how you pour a glass of water, how you hug someone who's been carrying weight all day, how you pray when no one's listening. You don't create art, you are art. And when you start seeing yourself like that, everything shifts. Because then you stop asking, am I enough? And you start asking, how much more can I reveal of what God already placed inside me? But let's get real. This level of calling doesn't come without tension. You've probably noticed you can't do average anymore. You can't sit comfortably in shallow conversations. You can't pretend to be satisfied with a life that doesn't stretch your spirit. That irritation you feel in ordinary settings, it's not arrogance. It's alignment pulling you out of cages that were never yours to live in. And that's why so many around you might feel triggered. Not because you're showing off, but because your very existence exposes what they've been willing to ignore in themselves. Yet instead of shrinking, you've been learning the quiet art of turning your magnetism on and off. Almost like a light dimmer, you choose when to reveal the full radiance of who you are. Why? Because you've seen what happens when you leave it on all the time. People swarm, they cling, they confuse your light for a spotlight meant only for them. But you've grown wise. Now you know when to share, when to protect, when to activate. That's not hiding, that's mastery. And soon, very soon, the right people will find their way to that table. Not because you demanded it, not because you begged for it, but because God Himself placed your name in the mouths of those who need to know you. So hear me. If life feels tight right now, it's because you've outgrown every smaller version of yourself. If your relationships feel strained, it's because you can't keep pretending to be comfortable in spaces that refuse to grow. And if your dreams feel bigger than your resources, it's because God is preparing you to live from faith, not formulas. The old life can't hold you anymore. The false identity can't fit you anymore. The shallow waters can't satisfy you anymore. You're being called to live fully as what you already are, walking poetry, living evidence of divine creativity, a rare presence that turns ordinary life into holy expression. So the question isn't, can I really do it? The question is, am I willing to stop betraying my own heart just to make others comfortable? Because the moment you stop betraying yourself, your whole life realigns, and that's where you are now. So let me end with this, because I want you to carry it deep into your spirit. You don't need to wait for anyone to validate you. You don't need to hide the quiet power you've been entrusted with. You don't need to fear the cliff you're standing on. Because the truth is, you were never meant to fall. You were meant to fly. And very soon, the world will see what God has always seen in you, a masterpiece, fully alive, finally revealed. And before we finish, I want to share something with you. As a musician, I've started a second channel, Simplified Serenity, with soaking worship instrumentals for prayer, stillness, and deep rest. If you felt peace here today, take it with you into your own quiet time with God. The link's in the description. I'd love to see you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Sometimes it's not the loud moves that change history. Sometimes it's the quiet ones, the ones nobody notices at first. Think about a domino chain. You tap one piece, barely a flick of your finger, and the whole pattern starts collapsing and rebuilding itself. What looked steady a moment ago begins to shift because of one tiny push. That's what just happened in your life. You may not have felt it right away. Maybe you even second-guessed yourself. Did that prayer matter? Did that decision really make a difference? Was choosing integrity in that moment worth the cost? But heaven didn't see it as small. It was the move that tipped the balance. It was the decision that made God rearrange the entire field around you. And here's the part you need to know. The rules that applied to you yesterday no longer apply today. It's because God just reset the board. And when He resets the board, everything tied to you has to shift. See, most people think breakthroughs happen with fireworks. But the truth is, it often looks ordinary. A midnight prayer no one heard, a no to a temptation that could have ruined you, a choice to walk away from what wasn't aligned even though it left you lonely. You thought it was just another step. Heaven knew it was the step, the kind that rewrites your story. Here's the reality. The conversations about you are already changing. Not because people suddenly decided to be kind, but because they can feel the tilt. They don't know why they're unsettled around you. They don't understand why they can't place you in the same category anymore, but it's happening. The atmosphere is echoing what God has already declared, and you can sense it too, can't you? That mix of heaviness and anticipation, the way your spirit feels restless, like something has already shifted but you can't fully name it yet. That's not your imagination. That's what it feels like when God recalibrates everything in your favor. All you need to do is carry God's presence into your everyday life with confidence, and then watch the miracle unfold before your eyes. Let me make it plain. Your last act of faith triggered a divine chain reaction. For some of you, this will show up as doors closing suddenly. Spaces you used to fit in will feel foreign. Invitations will stop coming. People you leaned on will go quiet. And while the human side of you may feel rejection, the spiritual side needs to understand this is God pulling you out of rooms that can't contain who you are becoming. For others, it will show up as sudden favor. Someone who barely noticed you before will unexpectedly go out of their way to help. An opportunity will show up without you knocking. Your name will surface in conversations you never entered. Why? Because the board changed, the game shifted, and don't be surprised when some people start stumbling too. When structures that used to hold you down collapse. When those who mocked your faith have no words left. When the same people who once doubted you start asking for your insight. Not because you went after them, not because you tried to prove anything, but because heaven itself has tilted the ground. And here's the most important part. This isn't temporary. This isn't a fleeting chapter. This is a permanent rewrite. God is not putting you back on the old board. He is building a new one beneath your feet. That's why you can't play small anymore. You can't keep apologizing for the weight you carry. You can't explain away the favor that's resting on you. Every time you downplay yourself to make others comfortable, you're ignoring the shift God just made on your behalf. Listen closely. You are not in the same game anymore. The outcome that once looked impossible is now inevitable. The pieces that once boxed you in are now working in your favor. And the ones who thought they knew how your story would end, they're about to realize they never saw this part coming. Because when God changes the rules, no one can play against you the same way again. So if you've been questioning whether your last act mattered, let this be your confirmation. That moment you thought was small, it was the spark. That prayer you whispered when no one was listening, it was the key. And now, everything around you is catching up with what God already decided. God didn't just give you a blessing. He changed the entire game because of you. Now let's talk about what this game change will actually look like in your life. Because God doesn't shift things in theory, He shifts them in reality. And you're about to start noticing signs that can't be denied. For some of you, the first sign will be how quickly you start sensing what no longer fits your calling. A place that once welcomed you will suddenly feel strange. A friendship you leaned on will fade. An environment that used to feel familiar will start feeling too small, too tight, like shoes that no longer fit. And while your natural response might be to cling, don't. Because those shifts aren't rejection, they're confirmation. God is pulling you out of what can't hold you anymore. Think of it like a snake shedding its skin. It doesn't mean the skin was bad. It just means it no longer fits, and holding on to it would suffocate the growth. That's what God is doing with you. You might even catch yourself asking, why now? Why so suddenly? Because when the board changes, the pieces move differently. And God wants you to know, these blessings aren't random. They are the visible echoes of the private decisions you made when no one was watching. For some of you, you'll notice a shift in the way people look at you. Some won't say a word, but you'll feel it in their eyes. They can't define it, but they sense the authority on you now. They feel unsettled because the version of you they used to know is no longer here. And listen carefully. Don't ever apologize for the weight you now carry. If you try to go back to playing small, you'll suffocate the very gift God just released over your life. Here's something else that may surprise you: resistance. Yes, even in the middle of favor, you will feel pushback. Old temptations resurfacing, familiar doubts creeping back in, people trying harder to pull you into cycles you've already escaped. But instead of panicking, take it as confirmation. Resistance is the proof that the game has changed. If nothing had shifted, the pressure wouldn't feel this intense. The enemy doesn't fight what isn't threatening. The fact that the pressure increased is evidence that your life just tilted into victory. Let me give you an image. Imagine you were playing chess, and everyone watching thought you were cornered. They were certain you'd lose. But then you made one unexpected move and suddenly the game flipped in your favor. The crowd would gasp, your opponent would scramble, and even before the game officially ended, Everyone in the room would know the outcome had already shifted. That's the moment you're in right now. People may not be able to explain it, but they can sense it. The rules changed. The game flipped. The outcome is no longer in doubt. And here's the part that makes it even greater. This shift doesn't just affect you, it ripples outward. Your obedience has broken cycles for your family. Your yes to God has opened doors for people connected to you. Your faith has shifted the atmosphere in ways you may not fully realize yet. This is why the battle felt so personal. Because the enemy knew if you made this move, it wouldn't just lift you, it would lift everything tied to you. That's why the pressure was relentless. That's why the nights were heavy. That's why you almost talked yourself out of it, but you didn't quit. You didn't fold. You didn't hand your life back to fear. And now, you're standing in the middle of a divine rewrite. So expect sudden provision. Expect opportunities that feel too big to explain. Expect relationships to rearrange, some falling away, others stepping in like they were always meant to. And when it happens, remember this. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's not because people suddenly grew kinder. It's because heaven reset the board. God himself drew the line and said, "From this moment on, the rules are different." Let me leave you with this image. Picture yourself walking into a room where a game has been going on for hours. The players are tired. The rules have been fixed. Everyone assumes the outcome is already decided. But then the referee steps in, the highest authority in the room, and says, "We're starting over. New rules. Same players. But everything is reset. And this time, the one you counted out is the one who wins." That's what God just did for you. And no matter how much others protest, no matter how unsettled it makes them, they can't undo the rewrite. So carry yourself differently now. Speak with confidence. Live like someone who knows the game is already tilted in their favor. Because the outcome is not just possible anymore, it's inevitable. The board has shifted, the rules have changed, and from this point forward, your life will never move the way it used to. God has changed the entire game, and this time, you win. And before we finish, I want to share something with you. As a musician, I've started a second channel, Simplified Serenity, with soaking worship instrumentals for prayer, stillness, and deep rest. If you felt peace here today, take it with you into your own quiet time with God. The link's in the description. I'd love to see you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. There are moments in life when silence feels endless, when you wonder if your contribution will ever matter, if your presence will ever be recognized, if your voice will ever carry the weight you know it holds inside. It was quiet because you were preserved for the right moment. God didn't let you fade because you were weak. He held you back because you were needed for now. Think about a musician in an orchestra. Their part doesn't begin at the opening note. Sometimes they sit in complete stillness, through long passages of sound, waiting. And just when the melody needs depth, their instrument comes in. Not a second early, not a second late, but at the exact moment when their sound changes the entire atmosphere. That's what's happening in your life right now. Your silence wasn't neglect, it was timing. Your waiting wasn't empty, it was building weight in you. Your voice wasn't ignored, it was being saved for this very measure of the song. And now, the conductor has lifted his hand toward you. The score is open. The world is about to hear the sound he wrote in you long before you were born. I know it can feel strange to step into this moment. You've been conditioned by quiet seasons, by years of being hidden, by the weight of watching others take their place while you sat in the background. But none of that was wasted. I know it's one thing to say, your voice was preserved for now, but it's another to live through the waiting. And I know you felt the weight of it. It feels like sitting at a table with people who talk over you, You've had moments where you shared an idea and the room went quiet. But when someone else said the same thing, suddenly it was celebrated. You wondered if your contribution mattered or if you should just stay quiet. It feels like watching others get platforms, promotions, opportunities while you're left behind, even though you know you carry something just as powerful, maybe even more. And in that gap, the doubt creeps in. Maybe I misheard God. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I'm just meant to stay invisible. But I need you to see this differently. Invisibility is not the same as insignificance. God didn't mute your voice. He shielded it. Because there's a difference between being overlooked by people and being hidden by heaven. You've walked through seasons where your prayers felt like whispers into the ceiling. You've gone home after giving your best and wondered if anyone even noticed. You've wrestled with the silence of unanswered calls, unopened doors, friendships that slipped away. And while it stung, while you carried that ache of rejection, it was doing something sacred inside you. Rejection was teaching you not to place your worth in applause. Silence was training you to trust God's voice above the noise. Loneliness was carving a depth in you that connection alone could never create. That's why your words now carry weight. Because they're not theory, they're tested. Think about it. When someone who's never struggled tells you, have faith, it sounds flat. But when you say it, after nights of wondering if faith was enough, after tears on your pillow, after seasons where hope was your only companion, it lands differently. People feel it, they believe it, because you lived it. That's the gift of your hidden years. They built substance in you. And now that substance is what makes your voice irresistible. Some of you still doubt this. You think, but I'm not polished enough. I don't speak like they do. I don't look like the ones who get chosen. But let me remind you, God doesn't need polish. He needs purity. He doesn't need your sentences to sound rehearsed. He needs them to sound real. And real is what you are. That's why you've always felt out of place in shallow conversations, because your voice carries too much depth for small talk. That's why you couldn't force yourself into certain circles, because your sound didn't match their frequency. That's why you've been misunderstood, because what's in you was never meant to be understood by everyone. God didn't hide you to deny you. He hid you to refine you. He let you see behind the curtain, the motives, the fractures, the flaws in others who rushed to the stage too soon, so you'd never confuse noise with impact. And because of that, when you open your mouth now, it won't just be words, it will be weight. There are people who don't even know they're waiting for you, yet their breakthrough is tied to your release. There are chains that won't break until your testimony is spoken out loud. There are rooms that feel heavy right now, waiting for the exact authority God placed inside of you to shift them. And that's why you were held until the right time. Because when the time is right, you're not entering with shaky uncertainty. You're stepping in with lived experience. You've carried storms that taught you discernment. You've endured rejection that forged resilience. You've wrestled with silence that deepened your faith. Your voice carries a texture others can't imitate. It's not performance. It's not theory. It's not borrowed language. It's fire birthed from ashes, clarity born out of confusion, strength hammered in the forge of nights when no one else could see what you were carrying. And that's why God waited. So when you speak, hearts will hear more than sentences. They'll feel recognition. They'll sense truth. They'll know it isn't just you talking. It's heaven echoing through you. So believe me when I say you are not late. You are right on time. All those days you thought you were falling behind, all those moments you wondered why doors stayed closed, they were protection. Because what good is standing on a stage before the moment people are prepared to receive you? What good is pouring out before the soil is ready for the seed? No, God is too precise for that. You weren't hidden because you were unworthy. You were hidden because your impact had to be undeniable. And now that the timing is right, your voice can't be silenced. Not by critics, not by fear, not by your own self-doubt. This is why your spirit feels restless right now, like you're carrying words that don't fit inside your chest anymore, because heaven has already marked the release. And you'll notice it in small ways first. People leaning in when you speak, even in casual conversation. Strangers resonating with your presence before they know your story. It's because your words don't just fill space, they carry weight. These are not accidents. They are signals. Signals that the silence has ended, that the waiting is over, that the world is finally ready for what God preserved in you. So hear me clearly. Your voice is needed now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when you feel more qualified or more polished. Now, because your presence isn't a luxury to this world, it's an answer. Your story isn't an afterthought, it's a key. Your voice isn't background noise, it's the sound God orchestrated this exact moment to carry. And I need you to rest in that truth. Stop questioning whether your time has passed. Stop wondering if you've been disqualified. The very fact that you're hearing this message is proof that you're still on the page God is writing, and your entrance is circled in red ink. You are needed now, and nothing can hold back what heaven has already released. The stage is yours now, my dear friend. So when you step forward, don't compare your voice to anyone else's. Don't hold back because you don't sound like them. You're not supposed to. You were preserved because your sound is different, and different is exactly what's needed now. And here's what's about to happen. You're going to notice people circling back. The same ones who dismissed you will begin to listen, not because they suddenly grew wiser, but because the atmosphere shifted, the timing opened, and now they can't ignore what's on you. And you'll know it's not random because deep inside, you'll feel the confirmation. This is the moment I was saved for. That doesn't mean the resistance will disappear. In fact, it may rise. Old insecurities might whisper louder. People who once held power over you may try to reassert themselves. But let that be your reminder. If nothing had shifted, there'd be no fight to pull you back. Resistance is proof of release. So instead of letting doubt paralyze you, let it become fuel. Each time the thought comes, am I ready? Am I enough? Did God really mean me? Remind yourself, if I wasn't, I wouldn't be here right now. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are not optional. You are needed now. And here's the most important part. Your voice isn't just about you. It's about what God wants to release through you. Every time you speak, someone else breathes easier. Every time you share your story, someone else finds hope. Every time you carry your presence with courage, someone else realizes they're not alone. That's the real reason you were preserved, not just for your sake, but for theirs. So walk into this moment with confidence. Speak with the weight you've earned. Step into the places God opens without apology, because your voice was saved for this time, and the world can't afford your silence anymore. And one more thing, my friend. I've created a new channel filled with worship instrumentals, simplified serenity, music designed for prayer, healing, and deep stillness. Just tap or click the playlist on your screen, and I'd love to see you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. There are no accidents in God's timing. The same God who sets planets into orbit, the same hand that painted your fingerprint different from every other soul on earth, that hand guided you here today. And the reason is simple. You need to hear this now. For so long, you've carried the weight of wondering, am I really seen? Am I really chosen? Or am I just another face in the crowd? Maybe you never spoke those words out loud, but the question sat in the background of your thoughts, like a hum you couldn't turn off. Here's the truth you've been circling without realizing. God already declared you are His favorite child. Not because you won a contest, not because you've been flawless, but because from the very beginning, before you breathed your first breath, He looked at you and marked you as His own. Think about this. When a parent watches a child sleep, there's a softness in their eyes no one else sees. That's how God has looked at you. Not once, not sometimes, but every single moment of your existence. Even in your darkest nights, even when you thought no one noticed your quiet prayers or your hidden tears, heaven saw it all. And I know what your mind might say. But why me? Why would God call me his favorite? Let's be real. The world has trained you to believe favor is about performance. That love has to be earned, that you're only valuable if you check enough boxes or shine bright enough for other people's approval. But God doesn't operate like that. His choosing isn't fragile. His love isn't about human approval or the opinions of those who misunderstand you. The moment you entered this life, you carried a seal, a mark that said, "This one belongs to me." Maybe that's why you never fit the mold, why rooms felt too small for you, why conversations drained you when they were all surface level. You weren't made for shallow waters, you were made for depth. And God kept you for himself because he delights in what he placed inside you. Picture this, a musician tuning an instrument before a performance. To the outside ear, it may sound like random noise, but the musician knows every adjustment is preparing the instrument to release its true sound. That's been your story. Seasons that felt random, moments that felt wasted, were actually God tuning your life. Because when the music of your soul plays, heaven calls it beautiful. And that's why you needed this reminder today. You are not on trial. You are not waiting for permission to matter. You are already God's favorite child. I want you to imagine walking into a crowded room. People are busy with their own lives, distracted by noise, faces turned in every direction. And then, one voice calls your name. Not just anyone's voice, but the one voice you've been waiting for your whole life to recognize you. That's what happens every time God speaks your identity back to you. He cuts through the noise. He calls you his own. And this declaration that you are his favorite isn't just a sweet thought. It carries weight in the spiritual realm. It changes how your life unfolds. It shifts how people see you. It protects you when you don't even realize danger is near. Because God doesn't just say things. When he declares, creation bends to match his words. That means the favor on your life isn't fragile. It isn't temporary. It isn't up for debate. I know there have been days when you've asked, why does it feel harder for me than for others? Why do I have to carry so much? But understand this. Diamonds don't form in comfort. They form under pressure, in the dark, unseen by the world, until one day the pressure gives way to brilliance. You've been under that same divine process. In the unseen, those who carry something precious often face the hardest tests, because heaven knows you're strong enough to carry prophecy. And now, God is bringing you into the season where he doesn't just whisper your identity in secret. He declares it openly, "This one is mine. This one is my favorite child." Sit with that for a moment. Let it break through the lies of unworthiness. Let it quiet the memories of rejection. Let it remind you that your value isn't up for negotiation. Let it remind you, the one who matters most has already approved you. Because right now, heaven isn't debating your place. Heaven is celebrating it. My dear friend, please don't measure your worth through how people treated you in the past, because how they acted around you is more about them than you. Maybe they projected their insecurities on you and you felt bad or unworthy in those times. But no, God's measurements are so different from people's. When you hear the words, "You are God's favorite child," something in you might resist. That's because the world trained you to compete for worth, to think someone else's approval means your value, and their rejection means your absence. But God has no favorites the way humans do. His favor doesn't divide, it multiplies. When he looks at you, it's as if you're his only one. Think of sunlight streaming through a window. One beam doesn't lessen another. Each ray touches what it touches fully without apology. That's how his favor works. When he declares you his favorite, he's not comparing you to anyone else. He's saying, "I see you entirely. I delight in you without limits. And this isn't just theory. Look back over your life. The times you survived when you shouldn't have. The moments you walked away from something that crushed others. Those weren't random breaks. That was evidence of God's hand already on you. Evidence of a father who protects his children. You may not have called it that at the time. You may have just thought you got lucky, or someone happened to step in, or you had a sudden idea at the right moment. But every thread, every rescue, every flash of strength you didn't think you had, it was all part of this one truth echoing, you are God's child, and He will not lose you. Now, here's the part that changes everything. When God declares you His favorite, it doesn't just stay in heaven, it shifts things on earth. It's like an author writing a story. The moment they decide the main character's arc, everything else bends to serve that outcome. God has already written your story, and His declaration is the ink that doesn't fade. That's why you've noticed strange resistance in your life. Why some people seemed unsettled by you without reason. Why opportunities felt delayed, even when you were ready. The truth is, God was holding the timing until the announcement was clear. You are not a side character, not a spare, but the one He has chosen to showcase His love through. And that means the season you're walking into won't look like the ones before it. When you embody this truth, your prayers will feel different, not like desperate requests, but like conversations with a Father who delights in answering. Your presence will feel different. People won't just notice you, they'll be drawn to you without understanding why. And your inner life will feel different. Because once you accept this truth, rejection loses its power. The rejection you've carried was heavy because you thought it was the final word. But it was never the final word. God's declaration is. So when the next wave of doubt tries to whisper, when the next storm tries to shake you, you'll remember, storms don't erase a child's identity. They reveal the Father's protection. And hear me, this isn't hype. It's not about pretending life is easy. You know pain. You know waiting. You know what it feels like to give more than you had. But even in that, you've been sustained. Because you were never navigating it alone. Think about it. The fact that you're still here, still listening, still carrying hope, that's proof of favor. Many lost their voice along the way. Many buried their light. But you're still rising. And that's no accident. So let today be a turning point. No more wondering if you matter. No more measuring yourself against voices that were never qualified to define you. No more calling yourself less when God already called you His favorite. Instead, walk forward with this truth burning inside. When heaven looks at you, it doesn't hesitate. It doesn't weigh options. It doesn't second guess. It declares with certainty, this is my child, my favorite one, and nothing can rewrite that. So go ahead, live like the seal is already on you, because it is. Every step you take from here carries more than effort. It carries favor. Every word you speak carries more than sound. It carries weight. And every time you remember these words, you'll remember who you are. A beloved child of a Father who takes pride in you. That's not wishful thinking. That's your identity. That's your inheritance. That's your truth. And soon, the world is about to see it too. And one more thing, my friend. I've created a new channel filled with worship instrumentals, simplified serenity, music designed for prayer, healing, and deep stillness. Just tap or click the playlist on your screen, and I'd love to see you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. You didn't stumble into this message. Destiny placed it in front of you because this is the moment you're meant to know everything you couldn't see while you were living it. The test is over, and you're standing on the other side, stronger than you realize. But many times in life, we're so engaged with the material world, the constant pace, the endless headlines, the daily noise, that we don't even notice what has already changed in us. We think transformation has to announce itself in fireworks or grand gestures, but real change, It often moves in whispers. It takes stillness to catch it. It takes quiet to notice it. And when you pause long enough, you realize you didn't miss the transformation. You weren't ignored. You weren't left behind. You simply didn't recognize what had been forming inside you because it didn't arrive in the dramatic packaging expected. Think about it. When we pray for strength, what usually happens? We're met with an obstacle that demands strength to overcome. When we pray for love, often the lesson comes through loss, so that we finally learn to love ourselves first. When we pray for abundance, sometimes a season of drought meets us, so we can discover that true blessing flows from fullness, not from lack. This is how heaven teaches. This is how God shapes vessels. And here's the truth I want you to hear today. You've already passed the test. You went through it. You endured it. You walked through it with dignity, even on the days when no one was watching, even when it felt like your strength was gone. And you didn't just survive, you were being prepared. But here's the part that most people miss. The last piece of the puzzle is not about fighting harder or proving more. The last piece is about becoming the kind of vessel that can actually carry the life you asked for. And that piece? It looks like this. Accepting life as it is. That doesn't mean settling. It doesn't mean giving up on your desires or lowering your vision. It means carrying an attitude that says, I may not know exactly why I'm facing this, but I trust that it's needed. I trust that God is doing something bigger than I can see. That's faith. That's obedience. And that is the very posture that signals to heaven, I'm ready. Because here's the thing. God doesn't just pour blessings into anyone's hands. He chooses vessels. Vessels that won't spill it, that won't misuse it, that won't let the gift rot in bitterness or comparison. And that's you. You are that vessel, faithful, tested, strengthened, trusted. But I know, sometimes that truth gets buried under layers of comparison. When we look at others and think we're behind, buried under doubt. When the world gets louder and we wonder if maybe we misheard God's promise. And that's okay. God isn't afraid of your doubt. He isn't shocked by your moments of questioning. He knows how loud this world has gotten, how difficult it is to stay still long enough to feel what He's really doing in your life. But whether you feel it or not, He's been shaping you, and you've passed more tests than you even realize, because tests repeat until the lesson is learned. There were times walking away looked easier, but you chose faith in the middle of it all. You knew deep down that some places weren't safe for your soul, and you found the strength to walk out before they buried you. Those weren't random choices. They were tests, and you passed them. And now, heaven is ready to tell you something you've been waiting to hear. You're not in the trial anymore. You're in the proving ground of blessing. The life you prayed for is not far away. It's closer than you think. Maybe, just maybe, it's already here. But it won't announce itself with the noise and chaos the world promised. It will be shown in alignment, in timing, in opportunities that fit who you have become. In the way you stand differently, talk differently, think differently. Because maybe that's the missing part, my friend. The point was never just about getting what you wanted. It was about becoming the person who can hold it without losing themselves. And that's who you are now. So take this in today. God trusted you. He refined you. And now, He is ready to bless you in ways you thought had passed you by. You passed the test, and you don't need to second-guess it anymore. But let's be honest for a moment. Passing the test didn't feel like passing anything, did it? It felt like losing. It felt like waiting forever. It felt like doing everything right and still wondering if heaven had forgotten your name. I know what it's like to walk through a season where every door feels sealed shut. You start questioning yourself. Was I wrong? Did I mishear God? Did I miss my chance? And the worst part is when people around you who can't see the battle you're fighting reduce your journey to a sentence. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. But here's the truth they don't see. You weren't being punished. You weren't being overlooked. You were being prepared to carry something heavier, holier, and more enduring than what you thought you were asking for. See, strength doesn't come wrapped in ribbons. It comes when you're forced to keep standing in storms that should have knocked you down. Love doesn't always show up as someone staying. Sometimes it shows up in someone leaving, forcing you to discover that the well inside you never runs dry. Abundance isn't handed out in the season of overflow. It's discovered in the drought, when you learn how to stretch a little and still find joy. This is what you've been walking through, not failure, formation. And the fact that you're still here, listening right now, means you passed. Even if you cried through it, even if you stumbled, even if you thought about giving up 100 times, you didn't quit on God, and God didn't quit on you. You know what heaven saw? Heaven saw the nights you were up, replaying everything in your mind, still whispering a prayer when you had nothing left to say. Heaven saw the days you gave when you had nothing left to give. Heaven saw the moments you wanted to disappear, but instead you chose to keep moving forward, even one shaky step at a time. That's what made you pass, not perfection, faithfulness. And maybe you didn't even recognize it, because you thought the test would come with questions and answers, with something obvious, like a sign written across the sky. But the real test was hidden in your ordinary days, hidden in the choices no one else saw, hidden in the moments where you felt invisible, but God was watching closely. You've passed through loneliness. You've passed through misunderstanding. You've passed through seasons where being different made you feel like an outsider. But here's the thing. The very difference that made others turn away is the difference that now sets you apart as chosen. The very loneliness that almost crushed you has become the soil where intimacy with God grew roots too deep to ever be pulled up. And now, heaven is ready to reveal what all of this has been for. So don't be surprised when the invitations start coming. Don't be shocked when your name starts showing up in rooms you've never entered. Don't second guess it when favor begins to move faster than your doubts can keep up with. This is not random. This is the fruit of passing the test. You didn't miss it. You didn't fail. You endured without getting bitter. And now it's your turn. God is about to bless you, yes. But it won't just be a private reassurance this time. It will be public. It will be visible. It will be the kind of blessing that makes even those who counted you out have to say, only God could have done that. But remember this. The blessing isn't just about proving people wrong. It's about proving God right, about proving that heaven was correct to trust you with weight, with responsibility, with legacy. And I know you might still feel like you're carrying some doubts. You might even be questioning if you're really ready. But let me tell you, readiness is not about never feeling afraid. Readiness is about moving forward anyway, knowing that God has already gone ahead of you. So stand tall. Don't minimize what you've been through. Don't explain away the strength it took to survive. Don't act like it was nothing. It was everything, and heaven knows it. Your name has already been spoken in places you haven't stepped into yet. Your reward is already in motion, and the story that felt like it dragged on too long is about to unfold in a way that makes sense of every hidden detail. Because you, my friend, you passed. And before we finish, I want to share something with you. As a musician, I've started a second channel, Simplified Serenity, with soaking worship instrumentals for prayer, stillness, and deep rest. If you felt peace here today, take it with you into your own quiet time with God. The link's in the description. I'd love to see you there.